Hello and welcome. New game today. I would have started at my normal time like I promised to do, but, you know, I had to put a third coat of paint on my orphanages. 2 coats probably would have done it, but, you know, I always go the extra mile for my orphans that I take care of. We're playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which I didn't... Hello, Serp. Welcome. I didn't realize that this is actually not part of the main series, technically. The main series is just the 6 games. The original trilogy, Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, Spirit of Justice. And this Chronicles is actually 2 spin-off games that are bundled together. And I didn't know that until just now. I also think I had originally said, I was thinking to myself, like, even though I've only ever played through these games in English because it was the only thing available, I'll do it Japanese. Like, wasn't it fun when I played through Radiant Historia and everyone was speaking Japanese? But I think this is, like, under careful consideration. The fact that this is a Phoenix Wright game, where it's like a mystery game, where it's like people could be watching, where they're just kind of, you know, second monitor or other tab, or they're kind of listening it to the background. I'd like people to be able to follow along without having to have it up on the screen, so I will do it in English after all. And so yeah, it's The Great Ace Attorney Adventures and The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Both of those together make Chronicles. So we're going to be playing Adventures, because it comes first. I don't know.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors,
America.
Transformation brought great waves.
The gentle state of California, I see.
This far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Oh, and some people got shot in the face.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
So we're actually not in Japanifornia? We're in Japan? Maybe. Also, of course, let me know if the sound is okay. Actually, the game might be a little bit loud. We'll find out. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, no, nothing. Save the glares. Murderer! Sorry. My actual name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't believe we're not playing as Phoenix Wright. I'm a second-year student at the Should I have... Maybe I should have played this in Japanese. Like, come on. Yeah, I will turn it down a little more. That should be good. I'm a second-year student at Daigyoku Mei Yume Gun Shogun. Not Sun Enmai. Sun Himai. I don't know. Don't come to me for Japanese lessons. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough, said wind-blowing Hachimaki man. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. Goman. Big Goman. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. And I'll kill anyone who says that I could. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. Posture check. Exclamation point posture check. You mean, I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asugi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. I know, he's always standing in the wind. Oops, I missed a line. He's even a qualified Is he? A qualified lawyer. Let's talk about that word, because I feel like in order to be qualified, you need to have a qualification such as you receive after you graduate, and then some. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma! It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud, as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. It's almost like he's going to be the prosecutor in the final case, I'm sure, and then it turns out that he did it, but he turns out that he didn't do it. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. Simple as that. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear. Look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then. Aibo. So it looks like most of it actually isn't voiced. Maybe it's just the cutscenes. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. If you go back and watch Danganronpa 2, that phrase comes up so many times. And that's when it happened. Asugi, may I have a word? How funny would it be if they like reversed it? If they were like in Japan, they were like, "Oh no, this is Calapan. It's taking place in America, really." Meanwhile, we get the version where it actually happened in Japan. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Oh, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asugi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke, I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. Deep bow. This is awkward. If I may? Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. Oh, are these names gonna be funny? Are we gonna get funny Japanese names where I don't get the joke and it needs to be explained to me? Okay. I mean, Kotoba is word, but maybe it's not Kotoba, it's Miko Toba. I don't know what a Toba is. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asugi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asugi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? We can't allow we can't allow lawyers to exist who defend guilty people. What a tragedy that would be. As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asugi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, for one thing, you're going to have an energy meter. And when the energy meter runs out, you are no longer able to be declared innocent. You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asugi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. of course. As the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over, and what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. That's arguably the more important one. Priorities. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. My destiny to one day have an American great-great-great-great-grandson named Phoenix. So this is... So wait, is he not even studying to be a lawyer? Is he like, I had no idea what a courtroom looked like. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. They have hardly any polygons. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. Secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Oh, it's a differenter judge. He doesn't have a white beard. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. Oh, his name is Ouchi again. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? Oh, this is where he's supposed to say, I do. So that I wind up defending myself, so that I don't have to play as someone other than Phoenix. This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear.
Yes!
Yes! What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba. I keep trying to say it naturally. It's not... Mikotoba. Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. Dashed like challengers against Britanton's impregnable shields. Didn't think they'd have any 14 references in here, but they do. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that, really. It's just that... Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so? Naruhodo-kun? Oh, Naruhodo-san. Oh! Yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, he must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? You will have only 5 chances to get the answers right. Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. Please take the bar exam right now. All 17 hours of it. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. No, that's me. I didn't die. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of E. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. You just have to press E for the court record. Alright, there's no time to lose. Instead of the proof that he's a lawyer, this is the proof that I'm a student at the university. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z to go back. Taketsuchi Aochi. John H. Wilson. What a silly name. The victim of the case, he was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Can I click it down there? Yes. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press R to present. Try it now.
Yes!
Yes! So I don't say take that, I say yes. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a professoring visitor. Was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together, after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor with a U? Ugh, but I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. How convenient it was that you were standing in front of him holding a loaded pistol with smoke coming out of the barrel. And that as he fell to the ground, he exclaimed, "I've been shot and killed by Ryusuke Naruhodo." Their English is so great. Well, they did though, right? I imagine. I imagine if this was a time period where they were close allies with Britain, of course they would speak British English. Not Japanese, surely. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. I just love they're like, yes, they want to pin it on you because it's just convenient that you are very obviously the murderer. Because that's how these cases always are. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was something that the prosecutor should really be stating in court, not me. Post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Oh, have a little peek at it? No. Yes. Male, British. Time of death. Cause of death. Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now!
Yes!
Yes! I'm sorry. I'm going to be Captain Falcon every time I present a piece of evidence. Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. As long as there isn't a bar exam that you need to complete in order to become a lawyer. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. It was taken by someone who holds their smartphone horizontally to take pictures. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Ever! Yes, I was 30 minutes late, and you were an additional 30 minutes late. So, I think it balances out. You do have a time machine, right? It balanced out. Trust me. To be fair, the fact that they haven't had lawyers for more than a few years actually justifies all the bungling. There's a... So... unrelated. For years now, I've been meaning to go back and play L.A. Noire. I don't think I really want to stream it, but I've played, like, halfway through it before. Like, 7 or 8 years ago, like, however old the game is. I got it when it was still somewhat new. Played through half of it, left it, and was like, why didn't I ever finish that game? Like, obviously I would have liked it. I do need to go back and play it. I don't think I'm going to stream it, though. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into record. Photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. What alternate reality are we in this time? We are in the past. This is... did they say what year it was? I don't recall if they said what year it was, but it's back, you know, I don't know, 100 years, 200 years ago. Meiji era? Sure. Makes sense. That's what I was about to say. And well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. In terms of evidence, you haven't missed anything. The only evidence whatsoever so far is they're like, you shot the guy and killed him. Here is the autopsy saying that he was shot and died from being shot. He was shot and died. Oh, we got a little magnifier? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Bullets in the wine? You did this to her. Let us start the trial. Like this? Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of this case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it, then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes, clearly. You're the defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asugi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Otherwise, we'd have to change the name of the game. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Is that a Britishism? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Butler did it. Obviously. Just end this farce of a court. The butler did it. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. Oh dear. Are you all right? You seem to be coughing up some... Wear a mask. It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of this district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. We also haven't had medicine from nonsense. They grind up tiger penises? That's China, maybe. Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. Kashikomarimashita. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. Kapow! A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the victim's report of what he saw, you amateur. But they actually did import a lot of medical practices from Germany after opening their borders, which is why German is still the language of medicine in Japan. Oh. That's why they say energy drinku instead of energy, right? Of course. Rockstar is medicine. Can't convince me otherwise. The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. Ugh. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today? Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. He already said that there were 3 tables being waited on. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I'll wait and see. Nothing bad ever happened from just standing there. The world certainly won't turn to sand. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject, and lawyers always have to follow the rules. Ryunosuke, sometimes being a lawyer means breaking all of the rules. If your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I'd never have gotten into Yume University otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know? If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it.
Yes!
Yes! Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Kranke. I see. Krankenschwester? I guess I don't know what that is, and I certainly don't know how to say the other thing. Betäubungsmittelversp... What? Did you take a wrong turn in the middle of that? How? Schmittelversch... R-S-C-H-R. In a row. Madmen, the lot of you. Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. I mean... It's still a lot. It's a lot to ask of me. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. The front of the business card, incidentally, will not be evidence in the trial. Wink. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered in the court record. Coughs in Japanese. So, the court has now heard a precis of the case? Sure, if you want to call it that. Alright, what's on the other side? Flip it. Flip it over. Gyakuten. Gyakuten it, please. Or wait, can you can a little bit kind of see through it? I mean, it's in Japanese, so it doesn't count as a clue. Someone will tell me to flip it over later. Chevapsky? Alright. Alright. What is that, like dog? Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to an unsworn? Why can't he swear? As an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial... The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You've said it. Professor Mikotaba... I keep wanting to say Mikotaba. Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. Kevapachich... Spicy meatball sticks. Delicious. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. BAM! The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. You're not the defense. You're not even my real dad. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Look at it. Is it just going to be a Slim Jim? It's probably not going to be a Slim Jim. It's totally not a Slim Jim. It's a freaking sausage. Yeah, that's just a sausage. That's just I mean, I guess it could be made of something other than... What's sausage come from? Pigs, probably? Minced... Yeah, what else would you make a sausage... Oh, okay. So, in America, you have sausage, right? But then you also have breakfast sausage. A breakfast sausage looks exactly like that, where it's not in a casing or whatever. It's just exactly that. Listen, I'm gonna Google breakfast sausage. Okay, some breakfast sausages are in casing, but no, maybe they all are. Man, freaking, I don't know. My point is you can buy those in America if you pick up a box that says breakfast sausage on it. Prosecutor Ouchie, please continue with the proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. Oh, we gonna have a little Professor Layton thing where I have to cross-examine two people at the same time? Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The great Nippon Army... Imperial Army Sergeant Iesa no... Iesa Nosa. Iesa Nosa. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Curio Korekuta. Collector. Korekuta. Curio, Korekuta, at your service. Curio collector. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. That's great. I mean, it's probably not a real name, obviously. Oh no! Wait a second. Hold on. So wait, but even we're playing the English version of the game though. They probably are different puns in Japanese. I don't know why I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Naruhodo's name is Naruhodo. That means everybody's gonna have their original Japanese names. No, they're freaking not. Nonsense. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. Can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at Le Carnaval. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to him. Ouchie, what is his name? He was in one of the other things. Taketsuchi? Was that his... I don't know if that was his last name. And I have no idea what the joke is there. He obviously targets Le Carnaval because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. And now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner and it can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black-uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. Is he? I don't think he is. Rogue infantryman? War? What are these words? Oh, are they T12 mechanics again? That would be funny. In Pandemonium 3. And you did beat P2S yesterday, so before the Is today Tuesday? Today's Tuesday. You did it. I'm very happy. From Wiki, his given name, Taketsuchi, is visually similar to the word Bushi, meaning samurai. Oh, it's almost exactly the same, but it's the one line. The one line is a little bit different. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. Are we going to, like, Apollo Justice? Like, you wrinkled your nose hairs while you said something, and I detected it with my magic bracelet? So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. Eyewitness testimony, most damning. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by to report. Standing by ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. Is it a baby? There was a sound, and it sounded like a baby crying. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Well, that's wrong, idiot. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second where the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, and I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. It was a Western-style gun, the kind that you sit down to use instead of squatting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, bang! Someone shouted the word bang. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. I have readied my sword in order to help you with that? Cross-examine? Do it now! As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this Yes! What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Dear me. Let me guess, the Hachimaki headband boy next door told me how to do it. Pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no expertise. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Gulp. Kazuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defendant conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. All right. This is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. And then bang your fist. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. That's a great moment. He hasn't learned the desk slam yet. He just desk slaps. All right then, it's all or nothing.